It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Well, today we're going to jump on that Sharp Interactive board. I want to go through Office Depot's FY 2022 Part 2. Office Depot has a new slogan. Office Depot, Office Max, imagine success. I got to be honest with you, Office Depot. I can't imagine success until I know more of the story. I want to know what journey you're on to be successful, because right now, I, along with a whole lot of people, when we think about Office Depot, we think about these empty stores with signs that say closing. We think about the stores that we might go in and we're the only one in there, and we feel like we're in 1999. Office Depot has to change everything about itself. It needs a reinvention. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe Office Depot is doing some things to reinvent themselves. The problem is, most of the marketplace doesn't know what they're doing. I went on the 10K of Office Depot. I strongly suggest every once in a while you go grab the 10Ks of some of these companies and start digging through them. You'll have more questions, I assure you, by the time you read these things than when you started. But I noticed on Office Depot's 10K that they have about 70-something subsidiaries that they own. And when you start looking at the names of those companies, I realize there's about 24 or 30 of those companies that appear to be office supply companies. Those dealer friends of ours that are out there selling office supplies, those independent companies around the country, selling office supplies, pens and pencils, and janitorial services to businesses. And when I go to the websites of the companies that are on the 10K, listed as subsidiaries that Office Depot owns, there's nothing about Office Depot owning any of these companies on their websites that I could find. As a matter of fact, one of the websites was bragging about being locally owned to a point of almost absurdity. And there was actually a question and answer section of the website as someone asked the question of the company, are you an independently owned company? And they actually answered, yes, we're in our third generation. All our profits stay here in the community. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't think there's a guy out there called Office Depot that could be these people's granddad. And so the question I got to ask, if you're going to roll up independent dealers, why is it such a secret? The organization is called the Federation. Office Depot's calling this roll-up, if you will, the Federation. And I just find it ironic that they're not really bragging about it. Because I think they got a nice story to share if they're willing to share it. Here's what I'll tell you, Office Depot and all those resellers. When apprehension and ambition set out on a path together, the apprehension will pull apart from the ambition further and further until it just snaps and it becomes a dysfunctional mess. Resellers out there, if you're getting into a deal with Office Depot and you're so apprehensive about it you don't even want to tell the public, I'm not sure you should be getting into the deal. And Office Depot, I think you need to do a better job selling the Office Depot story of the future to these resellers you're buying. Look, I get it. If this is all just a short-term game, let's just all get together, we'll roll each other up, we'll try to grab some synergies, we can fire a lot of people in a few days, just don't tell them everything will be the same, nothing's going to change, but in the meantime, we're going to start changing stuff, pulling as much profit out of these things as we can, and we're going to dump it somewhere. I mean, if that's your goal, that's your goal. But if it's your goal to really build these independent companies stronger by having a partnership with Office Depot, then you need to share that story and go out in the marketplace with the same vision, with the same ambitions, without anything holding you back. Because you can't be excited about doing something if you're apprehensive about who you're doing it with. How is that going to work? It's just logic, folks. Let me show you what I put together here on the Sharp board. So the Federation is headed up by an ex-SP chief. His name is Wayne Beecham. This was an announcement where they bought some folks in Chicago and Atlanta. But they're out there buying up these dealers, folks. And when you go to these dealers' websites, you don't know they're doing it. When you listen to these dealers talking in the marketplace, they're acting like everything's just great. When you hear anything about the Federation, we're allowing autonomy and all this stuff. Federation, Wayne Beecham, you personally, I think you need to reach out to some of the print folks that have done this, that have rolled up these companies and told everything will be the same. We'll let you keep your name on the building, Billy Bob, and one day we're all going to go sell for a 20 times EBITDA. Why don't you go ask them how it's going? We got numerous roll-ups in that print industry that have been in the same private equity hands for like 5, 6, one of them almost 10 years. We got one of the roll-ups that is having some severe, serious pressures. Because what do? They told everybody, everything be the same. Keep your name. We don't want to take advantage of a national brand. I got to be honest with you, Office Depot, that's a national brand that you could reinvent yourself with, that you could get excited about, and maybe you could really shake things up. Telling those end users all over the country, hey, look at all the stuff we could do. Now we got this local presence, these phenomenal partnerships. Everybody's on the same page, has the same mission. Folks, how in the world do you get involved with something where you're apprehensive about it the day you start? I just don't know how that works, man. So there's the 10K. You can go to Office Depot's 10K and look it up for yourself. All kinds of companies. And folks, I'm telling you, there's about 24 or 30 of these 70 plus companies that I believe are office products dealers. I went to the websites of some of them. But you should go do this. Do your own research. Put some pressure on Office Depot to start making this stuff public. Tell us what's going on over there. I found an article out there, and it was back in January of 2019, and I just took a little snippet out of it over here. And you can see it. It's saying that the dealers that they had acquired up to that point between 2017 and 2018 had generated about $400 million worth of revenue combined. That article had all kinds of different numbers in it, so I don't give it a whole lot of credibility. And that was a long time ago. But it would be nice to know what part of this $4 billion a year in revenue that the Business Solutions Division delivers to the Office Depot holding company, if you will, okay? What part of that $4 billion revenue is coming from this Federation roll-up? And what part of the profit's coming from this Federation roll-up? I got to give it to Office Depot, and I said this when I was talking about their financials for the year. You know, they had a 3% operating profit. It's Office Depot. We would expect them to be losing money. They had a 6% adjusted EBITDA. So they're doing some things right. It would be really exciting to know if this is one of the things they're doing right and how it's working. I think the marketplace would want to know that. I'll be real honest with you, Office Depot. If you're out there rolling up office resellers and this thing's working and they're growing their business, the same store sales are growing from the day that you bought them, and they're getting profitable and more profitable, and you're able to do different things in those organizations because you're all coming together and you're all excited about the future, you know what? You could probably do classes for my friends in the print sector and teach them what you're doing. Because it ain't been working for them. And they're trying to do the same kind of thing. Let's have all this autonomy. Anytime I hear the word we're going to buy you and autonomy at the same time, you know what? Dysfunction, separation, separation from realities. It's never going to work out. It's just a loony talk. I don't even know why people still say it, because you can't believe any of that. Yeah, we're going to buy you, but nothing's going to change. Crazy. This is my last slide. The CFO of Office Depot, way back when, around the time they bought CompuCon, Office Depot, retail could be less than 20% of our business. You remember CompuCon, the big IT managed services company that they bought, and they were going to go out there and deliver IT services in the marketplace? They paid like $1 billion, like 10 times EBITDA for that thing. And they ended up selling that for like $250 million. They lost about $750 million on that deal in a very few years. I mean, they got out of there quick. The good thing with Office Depot, they realized that was a bad mistake and they dumped it at a loss of $750 million, but they got out of it. They've been doing this Federation thing now since 2017. They got some tenure with that, but it would be really interesting to know what they're actually doing with it. And resellers, here's what I got to tell you. If you're apprehensive about joining the Office Depot family, don't do it. If you're excited about joining the Office Depot family, then you should be proud of that. You should be doing commercials in your marketplace bragging about it. One thing you shouldn't be doing is convincing yourself you're still a locally owned company and all the profits stay there and everything's going to be just great. Because it sounds to me, if that's what you're thinking, well, you're far away from realities. And when you get that far away from realities, well, things don't generally work out. Just some things to think about, my friends, because we all know this. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all tomorrow.